Commander Zixathara surveyed the blue-green world through the crystalline viewport of his flagship, the Dominion's Fist. The planet below seemed insignificant, a small marble in the vast darkness of space, harboring what their scouts had reported. As a primitive species barely capable of interplanetary travel, the Kethmori Empire had conquered 17 civilizations across 12 star systems, and this world, which its inhabitants called Earth, would be the 18th. "Deploy the surrender beacon," Zixathara commanded, his 4 arms gesturing with practiced authority. The beacon would transmit their standard ultimatum in the planet's dominant languages: submit to imperial rule or face complete annihilation. In his 3 centuries of conquest, no species had ever chosen the latter option twice. The beacon descended through Earth's atmosphere, broadcasting its message across every communication frequency. Zixathara expected the usual pattern: initial, defiance, followed by desperate negotiations, and finally, inevitable capitulation. What he received instead was a single transmission from the planet's surface. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Your ultimatum has been received and rejected. We suggest you leave now while you still can." Zixathara's mandibles clicked in amusement. The voice belonged to what appeared to be a small, bipedal creature with thin skin and no visible natural weapons. The humans, as they called themselves, seemed even more fragile than the last species they had conquered. "Begin orbital bombardment of their major population centers," he ordered. "A demonstration of power should correct their misconceptions." The first wave of plasma bolts struck Earth's largest cities. Zixathara watched the explosions bloom like flowers across the planet's surface, expecting to receive frantic surrender transmissions within the hour. Instead, something unprecedented happened. The humans fired back, not with the crude chemical rockets his scouts had observed, but with weapons that shouldn't exist in a civilization at their technological level. Streams of coherent energy lanced up from the planet's surface, striking his outer ships with devastating precision. The Iron Conquest exploded in a brilliant flash, its hull vaporized by weapons that appeared to channel the power of a star. "Impossible!" Zixathara breathed, his confidence wavering. "How are they—" "Sir," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving multiple transmissions from the planet. They're not surrender requests. Put them through." The main screen filled with the face of Admiral Chen, her dark eyes burning with an intensity that made Zixathara's warrior instincts suddenly alert. Behind her, he could see humans moving with purposeful efficiency, their hands flying over control, panels that sparked with energy. "You made a mistake coming here," Chen said calmly. "You see, we humans have a peculiar trait. The more impossible the situation becomes, the more creative we get. And you've just given us the most impossible situation we've ever faced. Your weapons cannot match the might of the Kethmori Empire," Zixathara snarled, though doubt gnawed at his certainty. Chen smiled, an expression that somehow conveyed both warmth and terrifying promise. "You're right. Our weapons can't match yours, so we built better ones. In the 3 hours since your arrival, our entire species has been working on one goal: your complete destruction." Zixathara's tactical display suddenly erupted with warnings. Ships were emerging from Earth's moon, not the small craft his scouts had reported, but massive vessels that seemed to bend space around them. They moved with impossible grace, their hulls gleaming with technologies that defied his understanding. "How?" he whispered. "You want to know our secret?" Chen leaned forward. "We never stopped preparing for this day. Every human child learns about the war that's coming from the stars. Every scientist dreams of the weapons we'll need. Every engineer plans the ships we'll build. You thought you were invading a primitive world. You actually invaded the most paranoid, prepared species in the galaxy. The human fleet opened fire. Zixthera watched in horror as weapons beyond his comprehension tore through his armada like tissue paper. Ships that had conquered worlds disintegrated under the assault of technologies that seemed to rewrite the laws of physics with each shot. "Retreat!" he ordered, but it was too late. The humans had surrounded his fleet with a precision that spoke of planning that spanned generations. "There is no retreat," Chen's voice echoed through his ship's communication system. "You came here expecting us to surrender. Instead, you're going to help us send a message to every would-be conqueror in the galaxy." Zixthara's ship shuddered as human weapons locked onto it. Through the viewport, he saw something that filled his hearts with primal terror. Earth's cities were rebuilding themselves even as the battle raged. The humans hadn't just prepared for war, they had prepared to survive it and emerge stronger. In his final moments, as the Dominion's fist came apart around him, Zixthara understood the true horror of what they had encountered. The humans weren't just another species to be conquered. They were apex predators wearing the mask of civilization, and they had spent their entire existence preparing for the galaxy to notice them. The last transmission from his fleet would carry a warning that would echo across the stars. Earth was not a world to be conquered. It was a world that conquered back. Admiral Chen watched the final enemy ship disintegrate in the cold vacuum of space. Around her, the command center buzzed with quiet efficiency as her staff began coordinating the cleanup operations. Humanity had passed its first galactic test, and the grade was written in the wreckage drifting between the planets. "Ma'am," her aide reported, "we're detecting several alien observation posts in nearby systems. They've been watching the battle." Chen nodded, turning to address the wider communication network. "This is Admiral Chen to all observation posts. Humanity is now accepting diplomatic contact. However, we suggest you come in peace. As you've just witnessed, we've become quite good at handling visitors who don't. The galaxy had expected Earth to surrender or die. Instead, they had created a new apex predator among the stars, one that had learned the most important lesson of survival. The best defense is an overwhelming offense, delivered with extreme prejudice.